On September 11, 2001, the United States of America faced an unimaginable tragedy that claimed nearly 3,000 lives and left a lasting scar on our nation's heart. We solemnly remember the innocent victims, the brave first responders, and the countless heroes who sacrificed everything in the face of terror. May their courage continue to inspire us to honor their memory through unity and resilience. May we never forget their lives and the profound impact of that day. A few years ago, I was asked to sing the national anthem in the Valle de Guadalupe, Mexico. It was indeed an honor for me. And while the rendition is not very good, I want you to know how much it meant to me to stand on foreign soil and be greeted by our brothers and sisters in Mexico with applause for the national anthem of the United States of America. I'll leave you with that.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed as the twilight's glass gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars earned a perilous flight for the ramparts we watched. So gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Hey, good morning, my dear friends, and welcome to beautiful Surfside, California. On this gorgeous morning, it is 9/11. We remember all of our fallen heroes as they inspire us to honor our nation and never forget 9/11. And also, I've got to mention, I know my job is not to get into current events. It's really to give you a reprieve from all of that, take you out and give you the vicarious thrill about sport fishing. But I do have to ask for your thoughts and prayers for Charlie Kirk, and I have to wonder out loud, what is going on with not being able to have discourse in our country anymore? You know, it used to be, heck, my wife's immigration attorney and I could not be more diametrically opposed to one another politically. I'm not going to even tell you how that works out. I'm just going to tell you that when George and I drive to the border, we go into about a 3-hour fight, verbal fight, defending one another's positions, going back and forth. I mean, we really go at it all the way to the border, just about every single time. And then when we get to Mexico, George goes and buys $500 worth of food, clothing, other things, distributes them to orphanages down there. We, of course, here at Freeman Adventures are dedicated to doing that. And we don't talk about it anymore. We're dear friends. He's done so much for me. He is truly a good person. Yeah, We go at it all the time. But at the end, I see the good in him, he sees the good in me, and that's the way it should be. You should be able to discuss things without resorting to violence. All right, I'm going to leave it there. I'll keep my mouth shut for the rest of the show, but I would love it if you are a prayerful person that you keep him, Charlie Kirk, and his family in your thoughts and prayers. All right, let's get into it because we got a lot to talk about here. And make sure you keep your eyes on me. Don't you dare get any rotten thoughts. We got a lot to talk about. We're going to be talking about, of course, what's going on south of the border down in Mexico. We'll continue to watch the situation at our islands. Weather's been a big issue. There's been some more albacore taken. There's been a lot going on, and you know what time it is. It is time for the morning briefing. Good morning, my friends. Oh my God, such good coffee. Feeling so blessed to be on this beautiful beach here with you all, and this ocean looks absolutely beautiful. On another note, I got hundreds of messages yesterday. Hey, are you okay? Where are you? Nothing on YouTube. Where's the morning briefing? I can't thank you enough for your thoughts and concerns for me. Man, I know it's been a while since I missed a morning briefing. We missed it yesterday. Why? Because I actually went out and caught some fish. I was out of Huntington Beach, California. I'm going to drop a video on that very, very soon. But I'm telling you, if you really want to go out and have a great time, next time you're anywhere around Huntington Beach, California, full spectrum sport fishing, you can't beat it. I'm telling you, Nolan Woody, our captain, was so knowledgeable and such a great guy. And he can talk about a myriad of different subjects. He's a great young man, hardworking, and a joy to be around. I can't wait to do it again. It was that much fun. But once again, I appreciate all the messages that came my way. All right, don't forget, hit that like button, share these videos everywhere, subscribe to the Freeman Adventures YouTube channel, click that little bell or tick that little bell, that rotten, filthy, disgusting little bell, and you'll be notified when there is new content. Also, you can follow us on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. Really good to be with you. Tootsie Report says this water temperature is beautifully warm, which bodes well for hopefully some more fishies coming our way. Man, it's beautiful here, and I hope you get a chance to come out and experience a walk on the beach or go fishing, do something like that. I do have to mention a couple of really abnormal kinds of catches that are going on. Sitka, Alaska, we've been telling you they've been catching albacore up there, which they have, which is absolutely incredible. But how about a spear fisherman just speared a skipjack in Sitka, Alaska? People on the shoreline were watching this skipjack kind of do circles around this little harbor, and they were trying to catch it. They were throwing every kind of lure and bait they could at it, when finally a spear fisherman said, okay, I'll do it. And he got in the water. It took a while. He was almost ready to bail on it, and he shot a skipjack, which is highly abnormal. That is pretty crazy stuff. Jim Stead just called me. He was up in Half Moon Bay, California. I think that's like 25, 30 miles south of San Francisco, to give you the geography. And he was catching albacore offshore about 40 miles out of Half Moon Bay. So we've got some albacore up there in that neck of the woods. We got a lot of crazy stuff going on. All right, down there in Cedros Island, still a good mix of yellowtail on the iron, white sea bass, a few halibut, tons of calico bass down in San Quintin, Baja California. We continue to see some pretty good yellowtail action, although that seems to go up and down, but some days you can limit out on yellows down there. There's tons of calicos around, plenty of rockfish, should your little heart desire that. And it's been really good on the big log barracuda down there in that neck of the woods in Ensenada, Baja California. There's a mix of fish in that neck of the woods. Captain Ihara Nunez. Captain Ihara Nunez is the first female sport fishing captain in beautiful Ensenada, Baja California. Check out that beautiful halibut she had. Lucky sport fishing out of beautiful Ensenada. Nice hit there. There's some bluefin tuna starting to act up again and starting to bite a little bit. It's still a little bit hit and miss. The weather is starting to cooperate. It was windy, now coming down. So we do have the offshore possibilities. There's no down about that. And there's yellowtail around Todos Santos Island and south of there, down around Santo Tomas. Our friend Carlos Cortez with a ton of rockfish yesterday and some yellowtail. He's been picking up bluefin tuna. He runs out of Popotla, a 15-minute drive south of Rosarito Beach. On the Long Ridge chain, we continue to see outstanding fishing on yellowfin tuna for the boys down below. Mike Krinkovich back in on the Royal Polaris. Mike said it was a fantastic trip with all the yellowfin and yellowtail you could possibly want. Really great to see the cranker doing his thing on that trip. That was absolutely magnificent. On the Independence, they were dealing with some rough weather a couple of days ago, but it didn't stop them from just putting the hammer down on the yellowfin tuna. They got all the yellowfin tuna they want on the Independence, fishing yellowtail this morning along the Baja coast. We'll see how that all works out. All right, let's cross over here into the U.S., or let's just talk bluefin in general. So that will take us south of the border as well as out here around Tanner Cortez Bank. El Dorado had a little bit of fish going last night. We saw several boats getting in to that nighttime bite. Are we finally starting to come out of it? We've had some obstacles. We've had the full moon, which has been having an adverse effect on the bite every single month this year. So maybe it's been that. And of course, really windy weather offshore. But some of the guys braved that weather, got into a little bit of a night bite. Overall, it's still pretty hit and miss on the bluefin tuna. There are some scores that are horrendous. Not catching much at all on a multi-day trip in terms of the bluefin tuna, and catching, rockfish to fill it in and occasional yellowtail. But overall, it has been pretty darn tough. No question about that. Islander 3-day trip did not turn in a score from what I saw. The Liberty was out and they had 2 yellows, 3 bluefin. A Dorado, some of that fish is down below the border. Some of it is out around Tanner, mostly Cortez Bank right now. So we'll keep our eyes on that. Ocean Odyssey, nice hit for Rick. He had a 1.5-day trip with 54 bluefin tuna. So nothing wrong with that. We love that. And again, we've seen 2- and 3-day trips just kind of poking at it here recently. It seems like maybe it's trying to come out of that funk that we've been in, but not yet. We'll continue to watch it. Now, south of the border, the full day boys who run down there have been seeing a lot of yellowfin, a lot of Dorado. I mean, there's a lot of it around. There's bluefin tuna mixed in with it about 40 miles south of the border. So the full day guys, they leave in the morning, come back that same afternoon, have been doing pretty darn well down there in terms of the seeing fish. In terms of the catching, that's a whole different matter. But it makes me think we could be sitting on a powder keg. We get through this moon phase. If the fish that they're seeing actually bite, look out. Hey, the San Diego yesterday, 33 guys had 2 bluefin and 21 yellowtail. At the Coronado Islands, we've been seeing some pretty darn good fishing going on here recently on yellowtail. I want to say from 10 to 30 yellows when you're fishing the islands, fly line sardine, some ironfish, but mostly that fly line sardine seems to be what has worked best. And I would fish 25 pound. A lot of guys want you to fish 30. You'll get more bites on the 25. If you see they're biting the 30 full speed, definitely go to it. If they're biting the 40, go to that. Choose a good high bait, change that bait regularly, and you should be in good shape. A lot of fish, and I'm talking offshore stuff like that yellowfin, like that Dorado, like that bluefin. There's a lot of fish being seen. Hopefully it's going to settle in and bite. So we've talked about the Coronado Islands. Let's go to San Clemente Island, where there's a few yellows being taken out there. Superior calico bass fishing. We've seen some outstanding calico bass fishing. A little bit of yellowtail zooming around Catalina Island for the El Patron when they have been out here recently. We'll watch that for you very closely. It's just been kind of a pick at the bass and the whitefish and the sheephead. Nothing extraordinary out of Catalina Island here recently, but a few yellows bumping around there. I see that the Enterprise had a couple of yellowtail, so there's been that. The Freelance with a yellowtail, there's a little bit of that going on, but not full speed. That is for sure. It just means you got to work harder. Some of those fish, the yellows that is at Catalina Island, being taken on the iron, surface iron. Tatty 45 will get you a bite on those forkies every single time. Keep that in mind. www.longbeachsportfishing.org to get on the El Patron. They have dropped their weekday prices to $1.25, 125 bucks to go to Catalina Island. I don't know how you can beat that. That is one heck of a great deal. All right, we take you up into the Channel Islands, and here recently we've been catching mostly rockfish. There's a few sea bass and a few halibut zooming around up there. They've had their share of windy weather also. That also is starting to cooperate. Island Spirit, man, I'll tell you, Captain Daniel Hadaway always doing his thing and doing a great job up there. If you're not catching halibut, then you're catching copious amounts of rockfish. Daniel will be out again throughout the rest of this weekend, and you're going to want to join him. You can do it and jump on the Island Spirit by going to www.venturaswordfishing.com, or you can give him a call at 805-676-3474 on the Aloha Spirit and other boats that were out yesterday picking and scratching at the fish. There's some pretty good calico bass fishing up there in that area, so keep our eyes on that for you very, very closely. We have seen definitely some of that going on. All right, let's talk about the coastal bite. 1/2 and 3/4 day fishing. We'll start in San Diego. Pretty fair fishing for rockfish and sculpin. Occasional bite on the yellowtail. The bass bite has backed way off. A lot of calico bass up there around Dana Point. However, a lot of shorts, but good action up there in that neck of the woods. And the boats here that are fishing locally, some guys are getting in on the bass again. I like the Victory. They had good calico bass fishing yesterday. Saw them at the bait receiver when we were there. And they had good bonito fishing. The Spitfire had good calico bass fishing, especially for those anglers who are fishing lighter line. Drop that fluorocarbon down to 12 or 15, and you will get into some much better fishing. Man, when you fish that light line on calico bass, the world opens up, and everybody's standing there going, what in the world is that guy doing different than me? That light line, choosing a good hot bait, both those things will work to your advantage. Up in the Santa Monica Bay, as I mentioned, the Spitfire had pretty good calico bass fishing recently and again yesterday. And then there's been some bass up there in the northern region also. Hey, let's talk about Avila Beach, Morro Bay. Good fishing going on there in terms of rockfish. We did have a signal. Private boaters made a catch of albacore out of Morro Bay, and that Half Moon Bay albacore now that our friend up there had a shot of, Jim Stipp, with that fish that he showed us, definitely bodes well. So hopefully we're going to see more and more of that as we go along. And then San Francisco, they just finished up some incredible salmon fishing up there. It was absolutely wonderful. Right now we are watching them catch good amounts of striped bass, some halibut mixed in with it. If you get offshore, you can come up with albacore out of San Francisco, no doubt about it. And south of there now to Half Moon Bay. So that is a very good signal. I love it. And hopefully we're going to get our fall weather, which means a lack of wind. We've had way too much wind here late in the summertime. We'll continue to watch out. Hey, don't forget about Big Fish Bait and Tackle in the beautiful city of Seal Beach, California. They have everything you'll need for a successful day in the surf. Man, no kelp. Check it out. Perfectly calm. Throwing a chrome crocodile, and you are on here this morning. Big Fish Bait and Tackle's got it all. They give away a free custom surf fishing rod every single month. You just need to walk in the door, purchase their ruler, and then you're in. You could win that thing every single month of the year. It's an incredible tournament. I lied. There's kelp in the water right there. All right, there's a little bit of kelp. You can work your way around that. Down around Huntington Beach, few Corvina down there. We continue to see that biting halfway decent. A little bit of yellowfin croaker. We have seen a few spotfin croaker right there off the tower, which has been very interesting. We'll continue to watch that. And also we are watching the situation here in Surfside. Few yellowfin croaker, occasional halibut. Hasn't been wide open by any stretch of the imagination. A lot of that small barred perch up there in the Long Beach area. We see a few halibut up there. At times it's pretty good up there when you work it hard. And then Redondo Beach, there around the Topaz Rock Jetty down to the pier, the old Mondstadt Redondo Pier. A few Corvina in there, at times pretty good. And between the Hermosa Beach and Manhattan Beach Pier, we continue to see some really good fishing going on there. All right, my friends, we're going to continue to watch this for you very closely. Again, there's a lot of great sign down there in San Diego. I like all that yellowfin and Dorado and bluefin. It's not biting, but they are seen. That's the first thing. It's got to be there before it settles into bite. And of course, my hope is that a lot of that floods up into here. Yesterday, I was out of Huntington Beach, California, by the way, full spectrum sport fishing, and we had an absolute ball. Fishing with the dog, my dear friend Jim Mosier, and Nolan, Captain Nolan Woody. What a great job they do there out of Full Spectrum Sport Fishing. I'm telling you, I could not recommend that operation more than I am right now. We caught a lot of big sculpin, limits of sculpin, a lot of fun, caught some big sand bass. He worked so hard. He's such a great host. And they actually have 2 boats, which my son Philip was thinking about doing a trip here where, 4 guys on one and 4 guys on the other. And then Nolan says, yeah, when we do a group like that, where we have 2 groups of people, we keep it close enough where the spit talking can go on between the 2 boats. You get a little competition going on. You're on 2 different boats, but you're kind of together still. Man, I'll tell you, these guys, Nolan yesterday, what a great trip. Highly recommend you take a look at them. Give them a call, book a trip. It's very affordable. It's so comfortable, and he does such a great job. You can get on these tiny little spots, where it's difficult for a sport boat to get on them. You can get on those tiny little spots and catch a lot of bass, halibut, and other species. And there's a long way to go here this fall. Highly recommend you check them out. All right, my friends, let's keep all of those who have fallen or who fell during 9/11, keep all those heroes, first responders, the innocent men and women who lost their lives. And also we will be keeping Charlie Kirk and his family in our thoughts and prayers. Take care. Have a beautiful morning, and I hope to see you really, really soon.